Hello and welcome to this very special edition on NDTV. We are coming to you from a very, very vibrant park. It's a summer day, and within a couple of weeks, we're having the UK vote. And this general election is different from every other we've had. Just a month ago, India voted. Did you guys watch that with great attention?
Oh my God,
Yes.
throughout the day. Like
Oh my
4
God,
a.m.
wasn't it? Yes, from 4 in the morning. And now here on the 5th of July,
4th of July.
no, 4th of July, we are voting.
Yeah.
And by 5th of July, early in the morning, we will know who is forming the next government. Polls, of course, are indicating that the Labour is having an advancement with their constituencies, but we will know. And the reason I'm here talking to so many wonderful and such a diverse group, thank you guys for joining us on this program, is because Indian origin voters here in the UK coming from a variety of backgrounds, and I'm going to quickly introduce.
I'm Smita Pandey and I'm a CBT therapist. I'm in mental health.
A CBT therapist from mental health, Shivani,
I'm Shivani Sharma. I'm a criminal solicitor.
a criminal solicitor,
I'm Ishika. I'm an undergrad at Oxford right now.
okay, an undergrad at Oxford and a first-time voter.
Yeah, a first-time
Yay.
voter.
Yes, of course. Jyoti,
I'm a Jyoti Pandey and I'm a criminal defense lawyer.
a criminal defense lawyer,
I'm Megan Tandon and I'm a student.
a student, okay,
Sudhanshu Sharma, I run a law firm.
running a law firm. We have quite a few lawyers apparently.
Apurav Sharma, student.
A student, okay.
I am a business leader in IT industry.
IT industry, great. Thanks, Yogesh.
It's Himanshu. I'm from the legal profession.
Another solicitor.
And this is Jignesh, I'm an artist.
An artist, yay, one from the creative fields. So, what a vibrant, diverse group I have. And this is the reason I'm meeting you is because I'm treating you as a sample group, right, of persons of Indian origin. And I'm trying to get into the mind of the Indian origin voter living in the UK on what issues they will keep in mind. And I'll go to you first because you're a first time voter. What's in your mind? What are you going to do before the 4th?
I think look at the manifestos first, because I think I don't really know much about the parties as a first-time voter. This is what I've seen in university as well. Most people don't really know. They look at the leaders, as in like Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak, and that's literally their whole view of the party, not exactly what the party stands for. So I think one thing I'll look into is the manifestos first.
That's so different from how Indians otherwise have been voting. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever read a manifesto?
Not at all. Yeah, I'm like literally reading newspaper and whatever I'm getting, but definitely read manifesto. And I am in mental health. I'm in health sector. Definitely I'm interested what are the policies, like health policies, like NHS.
Yes.
NHS is overburdened and access is a biggest problem for Indian community. And in 5 years, I think I have treated 4 or 5 Indian clients, which is like really, really shame, you know. So what are their health policies? Because if I can't access, just forget about the equality, disparity and all those other things.
Yes.
And waiting list, considering the waiting list, trained staff, the staff well-being, retention is the biggest problem.
Yes. And just the pressure on the health
but
system.
it's not
And
just-
and we are interested as well.
But
Yes.
it's not just the NHS, it's a criminal defense sector as well. They are cutting loads and loads of the benefits. Now there's very less criminal defense lawyers. There are very few duty solicitors. These are the problems. They need to look into all these things. And also when it comes to the contract, they don't release the contract. The pay is very low. Solicitors, they go to magistrates court for £50 and they spend whole day there.
Right. So who is this they? Are you talking about the government? The government. So is this anti-incumbency reflecting in all your comments?
Anti-incumbency definitely reflecting, but yeah, it's not just the incumbency. If Labour comes in, they need to look at everything. It's not, I will not say just NHS or criminal justice system, it's everything. The tax as well. Look at the inflation.
So
if you
is,
go
is
to
there hope? Is there hope that if the Labour comes in?
So the problem is here again, from the economics point of view, if I'll say, we are the taxpayers. Everybody is a taxpayer. And
Yes.
Indian community is a significant, very small community in the UK size in terms of the size.
Agreed.
But if you see in terms of our contribution to the
yes.
financial side, we contribute much. And
Allow me to, it's huge. Allow me to let our viewers know that the Indian community is among it's the third largest in the UK. Proportionately, offering a way bigger. It's like a tiny piece of community that's really lifting heavy weight on the economy. It's the second to it's between the second and the third largest contributor to the British economy. Go on.
And that's where the point comes in, that any government which sits in the chair, right, and comes up with the financial austerity measures where our taxes which we pay is being spent on unproductive humanitarian scope, right? That's where the challenge is, right?
Give me examples. What's been unproductive? Where has your tax money gone waste in the last 5 years? Or 10 years?
I think the way the funding been cut from all public sectors. You name a course, Jyoti mentioned it, you name a NHS, you name a probation, you name a all councils. All councils being taken away with the money.
Yeah.
Planning system is so difficult to get to the housing.
Yeah.
I think not more than 3 or 4 councils all around the UK meeting their housing targets. All other are underperforming. If you name particularly Hounslow here, I think we are around 8,000 less housing which is in requirement.
Yeah. So housing, social care, public sectors having a strain, healthcare, yes. Your views, what are you going to keep in mind as an issue when you cast your vote? Is there any India connection when you cast your vote, or is it purely, I live here, I pay taxes here, my roads are not good and I'm not going to vote for this?
That's there, but as other people say, is anti-incumbency. I believe it's not only anti-incumbency. They did good job. Sunak did good job in when the COVID is there, whatever is there. The problem with what we are facing is who is there for Indian community when we have a problem. So there, if you go around and check it out, there is 1 or 2 MP will stand up against us. So that's my biggest problem. As an Indian, I need my MP for me as a community. We don't have that many.
So does it have to be an Indian that you feel more trusted?
It's not only Indian. There is Bob Blackman for that. Shri Bob Blackman, the only politician got a Padma Shri here.
Yeah.
He's there, always there. We need someone like that. When we got problem, we have a problem. Right now, I can't see money. There is 1 or 2 there.
Are you pointing out at an underlying racism?
It's better not to go into that,
Yes,
but there is
better.
one,
Yeah.
There is.
There is.
There is, definitely.
But we don't want to go into that, she
We are one
says.
of the most peaceful, progressive, educated community. We are actually contributing, but we don't have any recognition and representation. This is the saddest part.
We got
okay.
we got 15 MP and 24 councillor all together in whole UK. That's all we got.
Has Rishi Sunak been discussed in Oxford, Cambridge? What is the conversation in universities?
So he is an alum. So he did PP in Oxford. So obviously people do feel the need to discuss it. I think rather than racism, I think it stems from a lack of understanding. I think ignorance in part. Because I think representation. So just the normal community here in media, in major jobs. So I think most executive jobs now go to like people of Indian origin. But then people don't see that because these people, while they are controlling much like large sectors of the economy, they're not actually visible when people go in to see who's actually doing the work. So I think the fact was that people had high expectations from Rishi Sunak just because of his heritage, like his Indian heritage. But it became quite clear early on that you can't really expect that highly of a public leader on a topic such as community representation.
Yeah.
And for someone who is actually at the helm of the UK, where, yes, we are a major component of the population, the vast majority is still white. And I think of other minorities not exactly overlapping with the Indian ones. And I think people do feel the need to have an Indian MP because, yes, it's easier to discuss my problems with someone I feel like I have something in common with than, let's say, a very educated white person, let's say having the best of degrees from Oxbridge, but having no literal connection to me. I discuss problems with a lot of my white friends. They can't relate at all. And I'm like,
because
how
it's culturally and otherwise very different.
And there's a vast gap. And I think that
saddest
truly
part is we are only known for yoga. No, and nobody knows yoga. The problem is nobody knows yoga. So Indian means yoga, means Varanasi.
Means
That's
tikka
it.
masala, means
That tikka masala, nothing else. This is the saddest part. We are the most educated community, contributing in tax. in law,
Yeah.
like, and everything is
In
connected.
NHS.
NHS, like everything is connected to our well-being, and well-being is like mental health, finances, like cost of living.
Yeah.
Everything is related. Like I'm
And not to
seeing
minimize yoga.
very true.
Let me ask you now, we are often talking about topics such as FTO, there's been a delay, will Labour help? What are bilateral ties between India and the UK? Immigration has been a big talking point. What does the voter of an Indian origin feel here?
For the immigration wise, yes, it is tough for Indian origin people to get it here and get jobs and everything. So it's tough here, yeah.
It is tough. So that's
Yeah.
something you will bear in mind. Yes.
on-
Sudhanshu.
See, I will just go a little bit away from the topic what we were discussing.
Yes, please.
That what's the reason why we are not having enough representation? Partly it is because of us, because we are voting around 14% last time the Indians voted. So
14%. Again, time for a quick fact check. A recent YouGov survey said that only under 50% all Britons will be voting in the next election. Last general election, only 14% of the Indian community came out of their homes and voted. And this time, there is really no reason to complain, because it's going to be the 4th of July, which means the weather will be fine. It'll be fine.
Yes.
So you are encouraging people to come out and vote.
definitely, and they should also be very mindful about the postal ballot. If in case somebody cannot manage, then he should be asking for the postal ballot. He should
Yes.
definitely send his vote.
Yes.
And that is the thing which will change everything.
Excellent point. Now, before I go into the trends, you're turning towards the camera, not away from the camera. I have these two young friends, Apurv and Megan, who've just turned 16.
Yeah.
Clearly, at 16, you can't vote in the UK. You have to be a minimum of 18 years of age to be able to vote. But at 16, you can register yourself to the electoral register. But what does your algorithm on Insta say? Are you guys really interested? Are you clued in? What's going on?
I think there's a clear lack of representation and hope in the Indian community for someone to vote for. So although there's so much that people want to do, and people are educated, so they have the ability to analyze the situation, analyze the situation of the UK, and their vote would be useful. It'd be meaningful. There's that lack of percentages of people who come out. So there's a need to have a general awareness and recognize the necessity to vote in order to achieve anything. So in a democracy, without voting, it's very difficult to change any situation. So I believe the first kind of emphasis needs to be given on understanding the MPs, and the MPs understanding the Indian audience, so that they're able to cater their kind of beliefs, their kind of policies based on that.
Yes, great.
Point,
It is a very good point.
lack
And
of communication and connection.
lack of engagement and lack of engagement, lack of awareness. On one hand, the Indian community, it has integrated so well into the British community, but it's still a very different community which is waiting for even further engagement. Megan, what are dining table conversations like at home? Do you discuss politics?
Yeah, we do discuss politics, but it's not it's very difficult to talk about in school, and at home I guess it's a lot easier, but it's harder to come out with your political views unless they're very supported. I think if they're a bit different to, or they oppose what the general public or the general people say, it's kind of hard to come out with it, especially because of social media. My algorithm is actually quite full with a lot of politics stuff, but not a lot. It's mostly, there's I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a meme wars almost going on between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, and the Labour Party is definitely winning, which I think is interesting to look at.
That's what polls have suggested. I'm going to go into this Labour and Tory conversation in just a bit, but something Megan said is so interesting, and I want to speak about it for just 1 minute. In India, you stand just 20 days before an election, you stand on the street to have a cup of chai, and invariably the conversation is politics. Does that happen here, guys?
It doesn't.
No,
It doesn't.
Why? Why?
topic
Do you
of,
during your
elite
tea? Yes, at NHS during your tea break.
No,
do you guys
not
talk?
at all. We don't talk about it.
Why?
I don't know. Actually, as an Indian, I don't understand this.
You don't relate to that.
Yeah, exactly.
especially not in Indian community. We are
We are so scared. I don't know.
we take care of our business. We do our business. We pay tax, and that's all we need.
Is there a sense of, let me hold
Better
on.
to dur raho.
Stay away from controversy.
I think the problem is that, when people say the Indian community has integrated so well, they cause no trouble, they, I don't know,
They're peaceful.
they be by themselves, they do their work properly, they pay
Sometimes
taxes.
backfire.
The problem is that I think the lack of risk taking in India, no people discuss politics because they don't care. They're like, this is my country, I can share my views, whatever, I don't care who's standing in front of me. Here the idea is that I am an outsider in this country, even though I pay more taxes than you.
Who is the oldest here? Who's
I've
the
been
oldest
living
here?
here for 24 years.
24 years.
Last
24 years. How long have you been living here?
5 years.
Only 5 years?
Yes, 5,
You've
yeah.
been, And you?
15 years.
15 years.
This is very important factor which comes in as a community representation, community identity, and that should be respected as well. And that's where, if you see between Labour and Conservatives as well, sometime the line is, for me, my own community, how does this community is getting represented, getting accepted into the whole society, getting honoured in the society where we are contributing so much.
Exactly.
And the
But
moment you
we
see
are in-
Labour is coming, I feel the representation is on the lower side.
Is on the lower
Definitely
side.
on the
The
lower
integration is there, but like Ishika, a young first-time voter, pointed out, there's also a lack of not exactly risk taking, but also there's a bit of shyness, I think, that we have self-admittedly said that we as Indians here in Britain sort of hold back on
We want
views.
no trouble, but the problem is that the way social media has shaped things is now, if you don't agree with me, we are at war and I don't like you.
Well,
And that gets blown apart.
Having said
so
that,
bad.
this still is a country which respects dissent, a country, if you agree, which respects democracy. Just one quick trend.
Radhika, one factor. You know, we are in House Law.
Yeah.
And you know the House Law is the highest, the top number taking asylums. They are the ones. So we are taking the biggest asylum numbers in this community,
council.
and those kind of thing is affecting. Not even is a local issue, but still those numbers is getting into the votes.
But it's not a local issue, but it affects us on a daily basis because
basis,
it's our
it-
tax
it-
money,
It
isn't it?
impacts the whole social fabric as well, right?
It does. Now, I'm going to,
Health, every.
of course,
And,
health.
and all those. Sorry.
Quick trend I want to discuss about Labour and the Conservatives. In the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, the Indian community was 99 out of 100% voting for the Labour Party. They have traditionally supported the Labour Party. But that changed. It changed very recently.
When
Uh,
they speak up about Kashmir. On
When they
that
spoke about-
particular point,
And
we
that was
changed
so
and we started talking about
Are
that
you
thing.
guys
Why?
sore still about that? Do
Yes.
you?
Yeah, of course, we are all correct. See, there is a point, like there is a free trade agreement discussion between UK and India is still hanging around,
Yeah.
right? And we have not yet taken consideration of those things. We are all considered about it.
Yeah.
Financial growth of UK as well as India both are very, very important for all of us, right? And we see that's an important point, which is still missing.
But
so
this-
these are the psychological factors which impact us.
impacts you.
Yeah.
So great points really. So my question is, why, when the support changed towards the Conservatives, which was, I think, to be fair, between 2010 and 2015,
Yes.
sometime
Yeah,
around that
yeah,
time, you agree?
Yeah.
And Rishi Sunak was not in the picture at all in that
He
time.
started his in 15.
Only
Yeah.
in 15.
Yeah.
He's quite new to
And
the
young
world
as
of
well.
and young as well. Now, is that a factor at all now? Is Rishi Sunak anywhere in the picture when you will be casting your vote? Or is it going to be typically issues, Labour, Conservative, who am I voting for?
Go on.
So for Rishi Sunak, I think it's typically divided into age groups, I think. So people of Indian origin, let's say first-time immigrants, so like who are here, like first-generation Indians, they relate to him on an Indian. He's Indian. He's from. He's my community. But younger generation, so let's say second-generation Indians who are
Or
actually
first-time voters.
yeah, who actually care more about like the issues brought about by the party. So let's say their taxation laws, like the student loans and stuff. They care
Inflation.
less about like the
Cost of
ethnic
living,
origin,
yes.
like his ethnic origin, and more about what he brings. And I think most of these like generational views come into conflict in these times because people are like, parents obviously want children to walk into their footsteps.
So you
with
want
it.
someone who's a reformer, not necessarily an Indian MP.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Although I think there should be
There should be more representation. Okay, fab. Great points. Thanks so much. Unfortunately, we don't have the time, but my takeaway of this conversation is that that the Indian community and different viewpoints from different professions has been so interesting. The trend that has been followed traditionally has been that you look at a party, you look at the leader, you look at the ideology, and that's it. I'm casting my vote. That's enough to inform me of where my vote should go. Here is a young first-time voter and some other voters who are looking at what news has, what surveys are saying, to read those manifestos and see what those manifestos have to offer, and then sort of almost academic in their approach, I think, which is skills that they picked up in universities in Britain, and they're going to be reacting or voting accordingly. But either way, the big push is for the Indian community, which otherwise has been traditionally active, engaged, but not quite vocal about their views. This is your way, my friend, to come out of your homes on the 4th of July, cast your vote, and if you guys agree, then make that same appeal. And on that note, we will sign off just yet. So whoever wins, hopefully there will be more representation on either sides, both the opposition as well as the ruling party, and all of these issues, along with that of immigration and of course that big free trade agreement that we've been talking about between India and the UK, considering that long-standing bilateral ties which have been so very precious for both nations, will continue. And hopefully, actually, the economy improves because should they be learning lessons from the Indian economy, which now is in the 5th position, and Britain slipping down to the 6th position. Radhika Iyer coming to you from London with this very vibrant, diverse, politically aware Indian community group for NDTV.